executive session. I will take a motion to move into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah, I had the cross behind it, you can go ahead.
Oh, do you want me to? Okay.
We're back. Look at you all out there. Wow.
The crowd is gathered. The tension now is. We can start now.
We can start.
Okay.
Okay. Minutes. I will take a motion to approve the minutes from August 19, 2024.
Move on.
Second.
All in favor?
I'm sorry, do we need a motion to come out of executive session?
We made it in the
Oh,
executive
you did.
section and Berlin made a new.
Okay, thank you.
Appointments, recognitions, and resignations. Appointment of Kevin Stradley to the position of MEO one refuse effective September 9th, 2024, at the regular rate of $29.83 plus accumulated longevity.
Move appointment.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just have a question, just curious. The accumulated longevity, because he went back into the same department he was in, or would that have been if he'd gone to another department?
I haven't participated in anywhere it's been from one department to another, but that has occurred as I understand it. So if someone, I think people have spent time in dispatch or police department.
Longevity
Yeah, it's accumulated town longevity.
that stays with you, whatever. Okay, I just
Now,
had nothing to do with this, just a clarification. Thank you.
Usually they come back in the same department, but not always,
Okay,
so.
thank you.
All in favor? Thank you, good. Maine Town and City Clerks Association Award of Lifetime Certification to Claire Wolfick, Town Clerk.
Congratulations.
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 Very nice. So does this mean that you're certified forever?
Yes.
That means you have to stay here
ongoing
forever.
training I have to
You can never escape.
Yeah.
It's like we keep bringing Joelle back.
That's great, Claire.
Good. That is awesome. Congratulations.
So bring the thing in a couple weeks so we can see it for you.
Okay, I don't think it's anything
Oh,
spectacular.
no big
I
thing to hang on the wall, this little certificate.
I think so.
Right, consent agenda, Bureau of Parks and Lands, Northeast Harbor Fleet Pier Rebuild and Shoreline Stabilization Proposal. And third-party funding thank you letters from Bar Harbor Food Pantry, Eastern Area Agency on Aging, Hospice Volunteers of Hancock County, Island Housing Trust, and Northern Light Health.
Acceptance of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any select board reports?
I have one. Used to have a tradition of having a party for all the people who work for the town around the holidays. And we haven't done it for a few years, and I would like to make a motion that the select board use some of their money to have a nice lunch. Yeah. And we could do it, I think we should use local, we could do it right at the Nor'easter, it used to be at the neighborhood house, but the Nor'easter is open and we could do it there. Be simpler, and so that's my motion.
I think I second it. I think it's great too, because it was kind of,
It was fun.
COVID,
It
right?
was a
Well,
lot.
it was various things,
Okay.
but we used to do the games.
Yes.
And it was fun,
Yes, I still have the
Yeah.
donkey head or something that has like, I don't know, it meant something to somebody.
Something that kept coming
Yeah.
back.
There was a turtle fountain I
Yes,
had.
it was, yes.
I just always enjoyed watching Kim open things.
Yeah.
Great idea.
But we should work on coming up with some plans then to bring back to you, I would think.
Yes, that would be great.
Budgets and all of that good sort of thing.
And if you need a select person to help with that, I'm happy to help with that.
Absolutely.
Yay.
So
Committee.
I
we have
love
a,
to plan.
we have a motion, a second. And all in favor? Good.
Nice idea.
Nice. Any other reports?
Yeah, I have a couple of things I'd like to just bring up. One has to do with unfortunately, where I work, which I know back in January or December, we brought the potential options for solving the sewage problem and it's been a problem and it continues to be a problem that's being investigated. And my understanding at that time that there were three options that were presented to us as things that were being considered. One of which was tying into the Soamesville pump station and sewer. There was no movement, no motion, no action taken. It was just brought up as a possible thing that was going to be looked into. And then I read last week that a grant had been filed with the federal government, had been rejected, but a grant to install that to tie into the Soamesville pump station. And it's not that I object to the idea, but in this, we're trying very hard to tighten up budgets and purse strings. And although we were told at the time that it wouldn't exceed the capacity of that sewer system was paid for by the taxpayers years ago, and it's tens of millions of dollars probably. And, in the same time, they're working out of a funding formula for reorganization. I just think that it's troubled me that without any approval on our part, that an application was put into the federal government to ask for $10 million to tie into a sewer that, from my perspective, they hadn't been permissioned to do. And I don't know, it was troubling to me that's how I just don't know what the answer is to that, but I couldn't not say something about it. I don't know if anybody wants to comment on that or not, but that was troubling to me. The second thing is completely unrelated. It has to do with the sidewalk and the sound traffic, yeah. But
That's,
As far as the sewer line goes, that's through the trustees and through the administration, the AOS 91 administration.
I understand that.
But most grants have to have letters from the town that say, hey, it's okay to do
And where
this.
so where they are right now is just asking their congressional delegation, so they asked Collins and King, they got no response from Collins. They got a response from King that said, it's not on our list.
It's not on the agenda. That's, again, it's sort of the cart before the horse. What would happen had they been given the $10 million? Then they're gonna come and ask if they can tie in? Because that would really look poorly from perspective of the federal government, but
Yeah, so I'm not that familiar with the process for congressionally.
I'm not either.
Spending. So what I think would happen is if you get to stay on the list, then you put in an application, and that would be the point at which they would
All right.
come here and get that letter that
I
provides that. I think the current step that they're in, it's actually coming here would be the cart before the horse. It's the flip, that they were just hoping to be able to engage in the process, and they were told no. Engaging in the process would be coming to you at that point. So I think that you would still have opportunities. It should Collins potentially take it up. She's on that committee.
Yeah.
So it sounds more like it was miscommunicated. That's just an initial inquiry as to, would you
It's an
be?
initial inquiry as far as I know.
Okay,
Well, okay.
I mean, that's like, well, that's what we used to do.
I think maybe the terminology that was used in the story may.
Perhaps, but the quote, I mean, Tony asked him questions about it too, and anyway, it was troubling. I guess I would prefer that if our sewer system is being involved in discussions at the trustee level, even that at least we be updated more frequently. I made it I thought, pretty clear that at that time, more discussion would obviously need to take place. I just was troubled by it. And I would guess I would like a little more sunlight on the whole process before I read about it in the Bar Harbor story that the school system is applying for $10 million grants, which is what it said and what people read. That's all.
So we have had some conversation here, and we've talked about, I did have older associates look at the capacity within that system.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've discussed that aspect of it, right? So you do understand the impacts to the system and that the system is fully capable. of
I also
supporting
understand that
such
everybody in this
connection.
town that I'm aware of, very, very keenly aware of how much their property taxes have gone up. And although the sewer system was paid for a long time ago, it cost us money. And if we're in the process of
I would assume that they
There'd be
were
a
gonna,
user fee.
I would assume if they're gonna be using our sewer system, we get some money.
Again,
And
okay.
Some of that.
Well, that discussion, that would be good, that's all. It struck me the wrong way. It seems like that we should have been alerted that they were sending a feeler, if it is, out to, about that. And I'm not, again, I know it's not, you're not the chair of the AOS and you're not the superintendent. So but I do know that you were the one that brought the three options that they were investigating to us, and we had a
The
very
document here.
yeah, we had a very short discussion, and then we're just at that point in time, it was just, these are some things we're looking at as possible options, and if my memory serves me correctly, that was made very clear that these are just ideas right now, and it seems like it's moved to being, anyway, that's all. The other thing, I know that when this, Soamesville Road got redone. And we lost a couple of crosswalks. And you were not the public works director at the time, but I pressed Tony on it a little bit. He sent me the report on why the crosswalk at the Soamesville landing was removed. And the thing that struck me, I know that one of them was clearly that the traffic moves too quickly. And there's a hill and the visibility sign. But the second part that I still can't get past was there's a quote from the state guy, highway person, that the crosswalk led to no discernible destination. Because there's no sign that says, this is the Soamesville.
There's no sidewalk.
I understand that, but
That's
there
the-
is a destination,
No,
so.
the sidewalk would be the destination. It has to connect to something, some physical structure, like a sidewalk with a tip down.
Well, then my second thing is, people don't stop anymore. You can't get across the road. And a lot of people leave the Soamesville landing, and I got stuck there for like 15 minutes the other day. Can't walk up and down the road because there's no sidewalk, and I can't cross because there's no crosswalk. And I just want to bring it up again, that it's a significant hazard. I tried to step out into the road to stop. I just want it to be on the radar that we either need a sidewalk or some other form of slowing people down or making them stop, because I don't know how many hundreds of people cross that road right there every week, but a lot do, because people come in and use that marina and people cross that road and it's dangerous and you can't get across. You can't walk on the side. That's all.
As I recall from what the state guy said, that because of that hill, that was a very dangerous crosswalk. And it was giving people a false sense of security that they could cross and be safe, and they couldn't, because you can't see them until you're on top of them. And even though there's the flashing light saying slow down, and I do slow down, a lot of people
They
don't.
don't.
So it's,
Right.
I know it's an enormous inconvenience, but it's dangerous to have a crosswalk there. And I
Well,
was
so-
convinced by his argument, as I think Wendy was shaking her head. Or nodding her head. I think it's just tough luck.
If there's no crosswalk, there needs to be a way to get to a crosswalk, is my argument.
Right,
That's
So
what I'm saying.
put a sidewalk
That's what we
possibly
need.
on the other
We
side of
need,
the
if you're
road.
gonna make me walk to the Masonic Hall or to this, you need to make it possible to get there. And there's a sidewalk right down to the schoolhouse that's now condos. They took out that crosswalk too, but that's there, if there's no way to cross the road, there needs to be a way to get to a place to cross the road. That's my perspective at this point. And then if I jump out in the street and try to cross the street with no crosswalk, then it's on me. But right now, we're stuck. You can't walk on the side of the road because it's too narrow, and you can't cross the street.
So just thinking about how you might connect across to a crosswalk.
Which wouldn't be very far, just up towards the light.
You have an existing crosswalk at the library, which is quite a long ways down.
The other way.
in the building. Right.
up to the light.
Go the other way.
You could go the other direction.
It's a lot closer to
connect
the.
to, and then reassess if there's potential for a crosswalk in there. That's
Yeah, the
sooner
crest
than
of
the
that
light.
hill.
The light-
Well, there is a crosswalk at the lights.
Both are quite a ways away from there, and
Yeah, the library's a lot further.
Optimally, for safety purposes, right at the crest of the hill would be the answer.
Okay.
Put a sidewalk on the eastern
Okay.
side of the road. And put a crosswalk above Pat Foster's. Over to the other side of the road. And then people can walk down the sidewalk to get to the landing.
They'd see it.
And one other
And they'd
thing,
be
to-
seen by people, by traffic.
one other thing to just put on, I know I've brought it up before and I'm broken record by the state won't put speed bumps in, but they do have a lot of places, they have these rises that are plowable.
Speed tables.
Okay, or they have removable ones. You know, Chief Kearns isn't here, but I mean, they did a lot, putting those things in, people slow down for the flashing lights. And then they speed up again,
Mhm.
and it's crazy. You walk down that street and it's dark,
Yeah,
it's, anyway,
But
and a
they
lot,
do-
that's where most people in this town live, over there on Oak Hill and Springfield.
yeah, Orono has those speed tables around the rotary right there, yeah.
And they work and they're plowable, and I don't know whether the state has a vehement objection to those, but they slow people down. I am from Somersville, I speak for the village.
I think that we tried out some removable speed bumps in Seal Harbor and had difficulty getting on.
Well, the state won't let you do it, though, so you can't do it, this is state road brought through
Oh.
Somersville, so that's a totally different animal, but yeah, I know, I understand. There's not a lot of good options and it's dangerous no matter how you slice it, but
Yeah.
we need to. I believe we need to at least try and mitigate that. Sorry, I took up so much time.
Are you yielding the remainder of your time back to the chair?
Okay, can I go now? Do we have any more select board reports? Thank you, Jen.
Lots more. I'm just joking.
Okay, unfinished business, review and sign Otter Creek resolution.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one, yeah.
I'm gonna bring that up at the advisory committee meeting Monday.
Yep.
And John and I had a discussion. We're gonna try to make time to visit with Superintendent Schneider sometime this month. Start going over those. That the whole business is kind of been off the gerbil wheel that we've been on. And that resolution will give you the sort of the wherewithal to say, this is why we're asking for these sort of things. Not that it's just an individual request by an individual person. And that it ties together. So what we're trying to do is make something tie together is what needs to be done over in that village and why. And so I'm hoping that this will be a good first start along those lines, and getting that into the comprehensive plan is of course important. And one of the other things is that I'm hoping the more we get publicity on this, the more people come to me and say, this is a good idea. Why isn't something been done about this earlier? So I think trying to get that publicity out, it's very important. I know the Islander had a good story last week and several people comment on that. But I think this is a good time because if you look at things years ago, it used to be if you had a problem, especially with something to deal with the Interior Department, who's had a very questionable history of land acquisitions, not with just indigenous peoples, but across the board. They have not had a very good track record on land acquisition. So this one, I think, when we're talking about in Otter Creek is particularly problematic. But the attitude many years ago, and this is just society, not particular administrations or whatever, it was that, well, that's too bad. It was a bad thing that happened, but we're sorry that it did. But, that's what's past is past and let's move on. Well, that type of a reaction really isn't appropriate anymore. People are looking at that and they say, yeah, that was done. And you're telling me now that that has to be what is going to be forward for all time. And I don't think that's an attitude that people accept anymore. And so I think there've been a lot more difficult problems than that have been able to be solved than a few things to bring back a waterfront history of a particular village.
Derwin, there have been some good articles in the Islander and also in the Bar Harbor Story.
Absolutely.
Have you had much reaction to them? Have
Yes,
people
that's
Yeah.
why I'm saying, I like to bring them up, especially at these meetings, because I know that the media is present, and maybe we'll get another story. So, you know, the more we do, the more publicity we get, the stronger we get, you know. And if we look at the whole situation, say, we can do something about this, you know, and, who would have thought in 1950 you'd have the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Acts right in 15 years? I mean, that's a much more intractable problem than what we're dealing with on this, so I'm confident. You know, really am. So, good, that's all I got to say. Thank you.
So do we need a motion?
Motion to sign and then sign.
Yeah.
Will we sign?
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you. Now it's the law of the town.
Okay, sign the release and settlement agreement between the town and 1112 Main Street LLC.
Signature.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? A new business, public space special event application, wedding, Jane Walsh, October 12th, 2024, Summonsby Park.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Liquor license renewal, Eliza Bishop doing business as Milk and Honey, 3 Old Firehouse Lane, Northeast Harbor.
Move approval of the renewal.
Second.
All in favor? Consideration of approving and authorizing the fire chief to sell the 2011 Ford F-350 four-wheel drive Super Duty pickup truck to Hugh Reynolds in the amount of $6,500.
Move approval and authorization.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Review and approve bowl permit and a utility location permit for repowering the Seal Harbor Pier.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion over that? All in favor? Consider request from Finance Director May Weiler regarding the closure of the clerk's office on 9/16/2024 due to a necessary update to the town's Trio software.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a question. We're gonna be closed on the 18th. The office is gonna be closed on the 18th. Is there a way that could be done?
That's unfortunately, we're kind of locked in. We've been trying for a long time to get them available to do that. It's something we really need.
So it has to be done on that.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be, but it's gonna be very inconvenient should it not.
But you can't do it on the 18th?
No, the Trio people over at Harris Software, they selected the 16th as the day that they'd be available for the transition to Trio Web.
And so if we said no, it would probably be another 3 months before you might get another date, correct?
Potentially, yes, it could be an issue, and we're already we're going up against the wire with the conversion because soon the Trio will no longer support the computer-based version as opposed to the new web-based version.
It's just unfortunate. We're gonna be closed 2 days.
And it's also my understanding, and I may be wrong, but that you need the clerks there to do testing of the implementation and software as well.
Correct. Yeah, it's going to be a full front office undertaking.
Oh, so that would just add so
Yeah.
much if you tried to have someone do other business.
We would much prefer not to do that, but if we don't, then we
Yeah.
could have a failure in the system.
And,
But you
and
also
that,
accept any financial transactions through that process, so that
Right.
takes away, okay.
correct. Yeah, we aren't able to do any transactions that day.
Feel like our hands are kind of
The
tied.
18th is that election training thing.
No,
the
that's
6th.
our clerk's business meeting, networking day and training and all kinds of stuff that day.
Okay.
And they won't move that for us.
Cause that's a state training.
Okay,
Yeah, it is what it is, and we wish it wasn't the way it was.
Okay,
at least it's not in August.
Okay.
so do we have a motion in a second?
So move. I think it was before.
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah, just moved in second.
Seconded, okay, all in favor? Public comment.
Thank you.
Jack?
Have you nothing to tell us? You have 3
And
minutes.
I don't see any little hands up there. There aren't very many people on that, are there? Okay, 3 minutes of silence. Is there any other business? Such other business as may be legally conducted, treasurer's warrants. All right. Approve and sign county invoice AP 2516 in the amount of $861,479.99.
Move approval and signature.
Second,
All in favor? Approval and signature, state fees and payroll benefits, AP 2514, AP 2515, and PR 2505 in the amount of $305,035.70.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
one abstention, please.
Acknowledgement. School payroll, PR 5 in the amount voided disbursements, V 2407 and V 2502. In a net amount of $167,415.40.
Move acknowledgement.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?